and welcome to Cricket 360, where the pre-match analysis before the third and final T20I. Obviously, West Indies has lost the series. India has done well in the T20 series. They have a pretty good record in terms of successive wins, and also not just against the West Indies, but in terms of successive wins in T20s, T20I. So good on India. We're hoping to see some changes. I understand Avesh Khan would be making his debut. Not sure yet if Ruturaj has been kind of given the green light to open. But as always, I have the privilege of hosting Joydeep Da, who's been doing a lot of commentary work in the Ranji. If you guys have been following Ranji, some spectacular matches all around. Tamil Nadu, Delhi was fabulous to watch. Young bloods like Yash Tol and Shah Rukh Khan, made a fabulous match out of it. Yash 113 in both knocks, just the third Indian to do so in first-class Ranji debut after Nari Contractor and the Maharashtrian Agate. And Bengal had a fabulous win as well after being bowled out for 88. So all in all, some wonderful matches. Joydeep Da, welcome. We'll talk about Ranji, but let's quickly get to T20I. Eden, what's your take on the team? What's the composition, given that, in a way, this is a good practice game for India?
My take on this is it's still an international game, and you want as many wins as you can. But then also with the T20 World Cup not too far away, you also want to give everybody a chance and make sure that Rohit and Rahul have given everybody the opportunity they deserve before they decide on their 18 or 20 or whatever the squad is. So I think it's that time of the season or that time of the series where they can talk, have a chat amongst themselves, and decide, okay, these are our openers, this is our reserve opener, these are our number 3, 4, 5, and these are our 2 reserves at that place. 6, 7 are these guys, these are our reserves. 8, 9 are these guys, these are our reserves, and that's how you do it. So you make sure that you've got all the bases covered. Having said that, you also want to give, like I said, proper chances to everybody, just not a game here and there. Like they've persisted with Venkatesh Iyer. He didn't come up at the middle of the batting order when he first started, but they've stuck with him. That's good to see, because this is a version where in batting in the middle, especially a 5-6 in T20, is the toughest place to bat. You hardly get balls, and then you fail, and they say you're no good. So I can see continuity. I can see going forward. I can see a lot of a very clear picture in front of me. Rohit has come and he's straight away said that we need to concentrate on the T20 team, which is going to play. We have to get our team ready. Yes, we will try whoever we want, but wherever we need, let's say right now the 1, 2, 3 slot, we don't have to try a lot because we have too many people at 1, 2, 3. But at 4, 5, 6, 7, we might want to try a couple of guys. So we try 4 guys and 2 of them make it. So they go as our reserves. It's no more a 14, 15 member squad anymore because of the times that we live in. Even the test match is an 18 member squad, and we are playing in India. So I reckon it might be a 20 member squad. So you want your squad to be properly, hydrated in every way. Teams, horses for courses. Anybody you miss, it's like a proper soccer team, proper football team, where there are enough people, and you never fall short of players.
It looks like India has announced a team that's going to take. So it's Ishan, Ruturaj, most likely to open, from what I understand. Rohit Sharma, Shreyas, Surya Kumar, Venkatesh, Harshal, Deepak, Shardul comes in, Ravi Bishnoi, Avesh Khan. So obviously we knew Kohli and Pant are not in the team. So Ishan probably is going to keep. Shardul makes his way back. Chehal's out. Ravi. Good to see that the management is persisting with Ravi. Let's talk about Avesh Khan. Joydeep, have you seen much of him? I've only seen him in one-off games, obviously IPL. Your take on what kind of a bowler is Avesh Khan, and is he well suited for the T20 format now that looks like he's, Bhuvi is out, and Bhuvi obviously had a fabulous game last time. What's the role of Avesh? What kind of a bowler is he?
He's a fantastic bowler. I first saw him in a camp in Kolkata, the Jadavpur University campus in Salt Lake, when he was under Rahul Dravid in the under-19 setup. And that's when I first saw him, a lot heavier than he is now. He probably lost about 10, 12 kgs, if not more. But he could bowl. But playing under-19 cricket is one thing. Playing senior cricket is absolutely another. So what he has done in these, maybe that was 4 or 5 years back, in these 4 or 5 years, even in Delhi Capitals the first couple of years, he has been a little bit, he had issues with his weight and fitness and fielding when he first came in. But it was in 2019-20 that he turned the corner. I have no idea what happened to him, but he came back the next season, trim, ready, fit, his fielding improved, and he could always bowl. So when you can always bowl and your fitness improves, you're, you're lighter on the body, and everything falls in place even more. So he was, with all the weight and being unfit, he was still good, maybe even very good. But now, having done all the things that you need to do as a fast bowler, and his ascent to the Indian team has been very vast. You know, he's played one season of IPL, and straight away he was there in the Indian net bowlers, and straight away, because as I was telling you in one of the earlier shows, one of the easiest way of getting the Indian team is to be able to bowl to in the nets to the players. Even
That's
in the
true.
Bengal team, when we are at practice, often I want many of the young boys come and tell me that I just want to bowl in the nets. Now, if you're of a standard, I always get them in. One is that we always short of bowlers. Our batters bat all day. Second is that's the best way to impress somebody, which is why even in the Bengal team right now, with no under 25 cricket happening in the next couple of months, we had all our under 25 bowlers. We had our under 19 leg spinner bowling in the nets to the senior Bengal team. So that suddenly, I remember last year we called one leg spinner called Siddhant Singh from under 19s, who had in under 16 taken 5 matches, 35 wickets. And a proper wrist leg spinner, which is a novelty. You don't find them too many of them. So we got him into. We were training for Mustaq Ali. We got him into the nets, and he impressed everybody. They knew he wasn't ready, but we keep him with us. He's a future investment for us. But we want to see him. We want him to bowl to a Manoj Tiwari. We want him to bowl to an Abhimanyu Ishwaran. Then what happens is he improves as a bowler because he's bowling to the best. And these guys will also help him get better because they are at the standard what you need to be to playing first class cricket.
Great to see how young talent is nurtured. It also kind of reminds me what I've read in the papers that NCA will also be looking to groom fast bowlers and give out contracts to turn out fast bowlers across the nation. That's wonderful because India has done really well, especially in red ball cricket, to kind of produce a battery of fast bowlers, and that's paid rich dividends. And we need to kind of
Yeah, that's
continue
happened.
investing.
That's happened because of the fact, Prantik, that BCCI in the last few years have played on wickets where you want to bowl fast. I
Right.
started off as a fast bowler. I was 6 feet 2 inches tall. I was a 17, 18-year-old. Started as a fast bowler. Played some junior cricket. I played as a batter, but I also played as somebody who could bowl medium pace. And I've got a couple of wickets with medium pace in Ranji Trophy as well. But when I saw the wickets and I saw that an ordinary spinner was getting 20 overs a day because of the
Yeah.
wickets. India is a hot country. We used to play in the heat most of the time. And then you get 6 overs, 5 overs max. And then spinners are they're bowling 60, 65, 70 overs of the day. So then I turned to off spin because that was less taxing on the body,
Yeah.
took less time. And, being a batsman primarily, it helped me that it gave me more time to work on my batting with bowling off spin than I would have got bowling fast bowling. But now, if I started my career, I would keep bowling medium pace. I would bowl fast. I wasn't quick. I was maybe, low 70s, mid 70s, but my job was not to be quick. My job was to get runs. But I could also come and bowl. But now I wouldn't change. I wouldn't become a spinner because now the spinners don't get much bowling. It's the fast bowlers who get bowling. If you see Pan India, you follow all the Ranji scores. You look at the amount of 5-wicket haul by fast bowlers, whether it's Nagwaswala, whether it's Chintan Gaja, whether it's all over India, you'll see that. So that's what's happened with fast bowling. And that's
So it's
why that's
amazing.
the reason why there is a barrage of fast bowlers that are coming. We have missed a little bit on the spinners, but I'm pretty sure with people who are there in BCCI at the head, that will also be taken care of. I think we need to get wickets. Today there was a game here where I'm in Rajkot where the spinners called the shots. A left-arm spinner, Kaketia, got 5 wickets. So this is what we want to see. It was a wicket with a bit of crack on it, turning, and Gujarat dominated the game all through, but ultimately got up to 80 or 92 spinners. So it was good to see.
No, fabulous to see. And in fact, for those of you who are keen to learn more about Avesh Khan, do watch the Backstage with Modi. There was a special episode with Avesh, and he spoke about not just his cricketing journey, but amazing stories of how he grew up, how he the struggles, the wonderful anecdote around a cycle that he had to kind of convince his dad to give him, and he used that to go to school and cricket school. It's amazing. That's inspiration in itself. But good to hear from Joydeep about the fitness aspect. And you make a good point about the spinner versus pace. In fact, even in today's game, would want to get your thoughts on. Clearly, India is going with more pacers or medium pacers in the squad. Obviously, we have Ravi Bishnoi. What should the strategy be? India is obviously batting first. We know it has rained in Kolkata a fair bit. The groundsmen have done a fabulous job. Generally, I suspect we should get a full game. But with India bowling second with just one spinner, we know that the West Indies folks have had a bit of trouble, facing up to our spinners, Chahal, Bishnoi. But with just one spinner, do you reckon India is a bit weak on the bowling department, or if we get to 160, 170, just given that West Indies haven't managed to really up the ante? I mean, yeah, last match was pretty close, but overall, what do you reckon India's bowling strategy should be like?
Now, I think India are a spinner short. I think so. Because I don't think this team would have played if they hadn't won the series. If it was 1-1, I think two spinners would have played. But maybe they're just trying to get everybody a game. You don't have a lot of T20s to try players from. And no matter how much the Indian Premier League, when you play for India, when you have the India crest on your chest and on your head, it's a different ball game altogether. Playing club cricket, at the end of the day, IPL is franchise cricket, and playing for the country is chalk and cheese. So I think they're trying to see how different players. This is a newish Indian team. If you look at those names you read out, there are, barring two or three players, it's a pretty new and young Indian team. Good to see. Just goes to show it's clear that they're trying to figure out, give everybody a proper go and figure out who are the men they want in their 20.
Yeah, new is definitely the word of the day, because if you've been following, cricketing news even across with the India upcoming series, of course, we'll probably find time to talk about the team selection with Pujara, Rahane out, and clearly a lot of new blood is being kind of, gotten into the whole squad and the way India is looking ahead. It could be just a plan for the Sri Lanka series, or it could be that's just the way Rohit Sharma, who's obviously now been appointed captain across all formats. That's how he wants to build his units and teams across the different tournaments. Now, talking about batting, you told us a lot about Avesh Khan. Would be good to get your perspective on Rituraj. We have seen what he's done in the IPL. We've also got a glimpse in some of the domestic tournaments. What's your memory? What are your thoughts on someone like Rituraj? A good time for him to break into the Indian side?
Absolutely, because he's in form, is the top of his game. I saw him a couple of years back, and he wasn't as good as he is now. So everybody can take heart from that. And he had a very ordinary Mustaq Ali season last year, as good as he is. And then he came to the IPL, and we know what he did over there. Just goes to show if you keep working hard, you will make rapid strides. It's not always instantly, but there will be maybe a bit of a lull, and then ultimately the hard work does pay off. The one thing that I really like about Rituraj is that he's technically sound. He's not all slam bang, and when the ball is jogging around, which often happened which can often happen when you open the innings, and the conditions or the skill of the bowler is such. Now, if you give Jimmy Anderson any a wide Kookaburra ball, he'll swing it anywhere. Doesn't matter what the wicket is. So sometimes swing is in the hand, seam is in the pitch. So he has the ability to hold fort. I remember Chennai's first game when we went to the UAE, and CSK were reeling, and he was standing at one end batting. He could negate the swing bowling that was going on. He was there for it. He wasn't dominating because it was not possible to dominate. There were four guys who perished in front of him trying to dominate. But when the eighth over came and the ball slightly became older, then he was there. He got a 70 or 80 and they won the game. But he had the ammunition. He had the game to survive those 6 overs. If your technique is not solid, sometimes you will come against a spell in some condition where you'll be exposed. So he's somebody who can do both. He if it's moving around, and if it's easy for the bowlers, tough for the batters, he has the game to sort of hold fort, play it out. 640, 635. Sometimes 635 is good if you know that you can make up for it later. But if you're in 6 overs, 46 for 4, the game is over. So he stayed in one, and then he had a partnership later on. I think either with Jadeja or somebody, they went to a position of strength and won from there. But just to get his team to the total that he did, he had the game to stick it out, and that is also important. Sometimes in white ball we tend to overlook that. That's all red ball we feel, but even in white ball, your basic technique does come into play at times, and he's a guy who can fall back on that as well. I mean, today it's rained in Kolkata. The pitch was under covers. You never know. There could be some moisture. There could be some seam movement. So you need somebody who can also do that.
Got that. And yeah, I mean, what I also liked about Rituraj is again his temperament. I mean, I remember in the IPL, I was watching a video where the team management was talking about how, they wanted to back him. He didn't really have a great start in the first half, but it's amazing how the team management was patient and he kind of reposed that faith. And overall, he's a good fielder. His temperament looks good. So I'm really hoping that if obviously he's getting a game today. Really hoping that Rituraj and Ishan. I'm happy to see that Ishan has been given a chance. We've been talking about the fact that he could be feeling nervous. He probably is second guessing that once Kale comes back, very likely Ishan probably has to sit out, just given the depth of talent the Indian batting unit has. But good to see that he's been persisted with. So with Rituraj, Rohit, and Ishan in the top three, I think that looks very solid. Clearly, middle, we've spoken a lot about Surya, but will be good to see Shreyas. Again, these guys are coming on, all of these guys pretty much are coming on the back of pretty good either domestic tournaments or good IPL bids. Even in the Ranji trophies, I was just amazed that someone like Shah Rukh Khan, obviously, doing so well, gets a great near 10 crore bid, and then bang, he comes and, performs. And we've spoken about this, that
And
confidence
how?
is, and how,
And how?
194 in 148. It's
And how? See,
absolutely,
sometimes
absolutely.
when the special player comes, it's the how that's more important than how much.
That's right.
So just
No, no,
going back
absolutely.
back
I
in
mean,
the day when I played and when Saurav Ganguly came, there are a lot of people who got more runs than him.
yeah,
Arullah got more runs than him uh, a few seasons, but it's how he got his runs. And often when we would play a Karnataka and Srinath and Prasad were bowling, it's one knock of 60. Maybe it was 60. Somebody else got 100. But it's the way he got that 60. It's with the ease that he was playing. Obviously, it wasn't a finished product. So, he would probably give it away or whatever, too much of, young blood, rush of blood. But the way he was playing Srinath, Kumble, Raghuram Bhatt, David Johnson, Anil Kumble, so we could see the ease. The other person at the other end got more runs, had to work 10 times hard to get those runs. So that's when you can see quality. So I remember playing a game, I can't remember where, but we were playing Mumbai and everybody was at sea. But Saurav India got a 70 and he looked the part. He looked like this was club cricket going on. So it's the batter who can look the bowling look ordinary. And again, it's the bowling that can look the batting look, really up to the mark or not up to the mark, whichever way you go. So again, what I'm trying to say, it's a game of skill. So when your batting skill is high against a given bowling skill, then obviously, you belong to the next level. And that sort of, okay, they played him early, went in 92, blah, 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 came back, played domestic cricket, played India, played the Dilip Trophy, got ready, and then he also what he could do
no,
in the
this
cricket
is
batting
this is a
order.
point I was going to ask you anyway. That since you brought this up, now many of these guys, hyped up. They've had good domestic, good IPL bids. Some of them will play well. Either some of them, it's just human that some of them will probably not be as consistent, or some of them may lose out because of injuries or because it's just so crowded up there. What happened for someone like a Saurav? Obviously, you said oozing with talent, confidence. He made it to 92, but then was out of the scene for 4 years. What's that journey? What's that message for players who may not be able to kind of live up to the Indian international standards, right? Just because they've broken through. What's that journey like for them to make a comeback? What do they need to really focus over the next 3-4 years, irrespective of whether they are playing for Team India or not?
Domestic cricket. That's the only thing that matters. So even when Saurav went to Australia, he got 100 against West Zone in
Yeah.
Guwahati, which was phenomenal. So he went and everybody was there in the opponents. So the Tendulkar, the Vengsarkar, Ravi Shastri, Lal Rajput, Praveen Amre, Vinod Kamli, Manjrekar, everybody was there. So he got 100. On the back of that 100, he went. Then, of course, he didn't play for a while in the 4-month tour and then played one day. Okay, we know all that. But when he came back, and I think he went a little too early, but when he came back and between 92 and 96, he played every Ranji Trophy game, every Dilip Trophy game, every Deodo Trophy game, played India A in Sharjah, played India A against England, played a lot of India A matches. And this was the finishing school. This is the polish your diamond needs before you can
Right.
put it in the ring and wear it in your hand or present it to your wife. But that polish was required. But if I get you a diamond without the polish, then you're not going to be very happy with it. But once you get the polish, so the finishing school is domestic cricket. which is why kudos to the BCCI for getting Ranji Trophy on the park. Today, Abhimanyu Vishnu's got a 79. Today, Priyank Panchal got a 50 in the first innings. Today, Nageswala, who's been around the Indian team, he's been bowling, he got a 5 in the first. All pan-India, there are a lot of guys who are scoring runs. And, Rahane got 100 in the first. Pujara got a 90 odd in the second. So this is for the season campaigners to tell them that we are still around. And, Lord knows if Rahane comes and has a, I don't know, 600 season this year, it's possible. 300s now, then quarters 100, semis 100, final 100. It's not beyond him. And he's telling the selectors, okay, I had a bit of a problem. I've sorted it out now. Give me another go. So this is where the domestic cricket is so important. That's why when BCCI decided to have the Ranji Trophy, all the former players were saying it's the best news. Why? Because they've gone through the grind. They know what it takes. And they know that this is where you can get the next red ball cricketers. And
So well
sometimes
said.
we are in the fear of losing red ball cricketers, because everything is towards white ball, the IPL. Every young kid wants to play the IPL. They say, test cricket, what's that? That happens 5 times a year, like that. So we are in the fear of losing players. So for us to be able to have a constant supply of red ball cricket, Ranji Trophy, Dilip Trophy is absolutely of great importance.
Fabulous. I think the message is loud and clear and good. Because I've always wondered. And again, for someone like Saurabh, I'm sure this stood in good stead because he had to make another comeback for a very different reason later on in his career. And again, even there, he played, he went back to square one. He, it's well documented that he went on, to play domestic cricket and, made his comeback. And what a fabulous.
Yeah, even now, you look at Pujara, he hasn't missed a game.
Yeah.
You look at Rahane, they're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen Mayank Agarwal come back from a India tour where he was not playing. I think drive all night and come and play the match the next day. They're crazy about games. They're crazy about playing. That's what I love about these guys. He's showing crazy about playing. You tell him it's a decent wicket and he'll come and play for you wherever you say. They just love the game. It's not about money. It's not about what am I getting. It's about just love batting. Love the feeling of going into bat and the contest between bat and ball. Even as a bowler, I know some bowlers who love bowling. I mean, Utpal Chatterjee, our left-arm spinner, often he would run out of batters. How often does that happen? He's bowled to 8 people and he's looking for 9, 10, 11 to come and bat. Come, your batting will come in the match. Why don't you come and have a knock? And he's bowled to 8 people. He's bowled for 2.5 hours. That's why you could bowl 50 overs, 40 overs a day on the same spot, because you bowl for 3 hours on the trot.
Unreal.
So,
absolutely fabulous.
Sometimes we make the game very complicated now, but if you see these guys with the amount of success they've had, and for me, success in state cricket, in domestic cricket, is harder than international cricket, because domestic cricket, it's a grind out here. I mean, a lot of people watching. The money wasn't great when I played. I think I started my first game at 300 rupees a game. So in 4 days, I got 300 rupees. I know it's a lot more now.
On this show, you have declared that there are 2 reasons why you wish you were born 20, 30 years later. Fast bowling pitches, higher salaries, potential IPL contracts. Life would have been very different.
No, I just wish I was born on wickets which were greener, because I would have bowled more. And also, I think the money actually didn't matter. For me, because we played in that generation, even now when somebody says, I'm here in commentary and I've got some senior players, Vivek Razdan and Manvinder Bisla, Rajat Bhatia, all younger than me, and they said, we're going to have a tennis ball match against the crew. And everybody's up for it.
Fabulous.
That's the love of the game, Antik. So Vivek Razdan wants to come and bowl. Now he's crossed 50, but he says, I'm going to bowl. Bisla says, I'm going to open. Bhatia says, I'll play. And we are going to have a, commentators versus staff match. So this is the love of playing the game, and this is the reason we played the game. In short, my dad was in film, so I had that path, but that didn't get me going. This did. I mean, for Saurav also. I mean, even Saurav, Snehashish, his brother, fabulous player. They had a very successful business in front of them. But Saurav has now become Saurav, so it is. But even if he hadn't become, love playing cricket. No two opinions about that.
What fantastic stories these. I mean, that's the point. And I think the message, I'm glad you mentioned this, that because we have such a wonderful pipeline of talent. Obviously, not everyone will be able to consistently play for India. But again, the point is, hopefully, we all go out and play, whether it's state, Ranji Trophy, Dulip Trophy, Syed Mushtaq Ali, whatever that is. The idea is to just keep going. And, the other player that came to my mind as you were talking about, I mean, I remember reading about a particular Rahul Dravid anecdote that when he would come back after international tours, he would go back to that same club cricket ground. He would drive in his Maruti and go and play with the same buddies. And again, there's humility, but probably the passion to just go out. And again, as you mentioned on many shows, net practice can't give you that. Even if it's a club level cricket, going and playing a match scenario perhaps is very, very different. And I'm hoping the Avesh Khans, good to see someone like Sarfaraz as well. Look at a turnaround. There's so much negative commentary around him, but again, domestic cricket has come to his rescue. He's come back, and again, he's knocking at the doors. What a fabulous story that he's stitched up.
For sure, because one thing I've known of knowing some great legends of Indian cricket, world cricket, they have a lot of respect for people who've done well in domestic cricket. A lot of respect. Just because he hasn't played for India or hasn't come or maybe played a couple of games don't matter. So when you talk about when you go to a Tendulkar, go to a Lakshman and say Utpal Chatterjee, they say, what a bowler. Now Utpal Chatterjee might have played 3 or 4 one-day games. So they don't say, oh, he's played 3 games. No. They know they played this grind. 500 wickets. So when they see there's a guy with a 52 average in Ranji Trophy or a 40 average, 45 average, or whatever, or he's played 10 years, he's got 6,000 runs. Somebody like a Sairaj Bhautule, he's not a big name in international cricket. 6,000 runs and 600 wickets. 6,000 first-class runs and 600 wickets. Now, how good is that?
You suddenly remind me of someone like Wasim Jafar. What a legend.
Wasim Jafar still played 30 or test matches.
Right.
But I'm saying, Sairaj Bhautule played 1 or 2, whatever. Because Kumble was there and blah, 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 Harbhajan was there. So you're born at the wrong time. Everything I agree. But just to have 6,000 first-class runs and 600 wickets. And everybody talks about Sairaj Bhautule, speaks with respect. Even the greats. Because they have played this grind. Okay, they have graduated, gone ahead. They had a different life path. That's okay. But they know how difficult the grind is in this level where these guys are so good. So that's where respect comes. That's where class oozes from these people. That they have time and they have respect for people who might not have played their level, but still hold their own at the level that they played.
That's it. On that note, we're going to go and watch the third T20 in Kolkata at Eden Gardens. Hopefully, it's a cracker. West Indies have made 4 changes. I'm sure, the way they batted last time, they'll come all guns blazing. Indian batsmen have to be very, very careful against the spinners. Chase, again, I'm looking forward to the contest between the top 3 or even the middle order against Chase. He's been really, really good. And I'm also going to look forward to just the way West Indies script out and structure their chase because they came very, very close. India did well at the end, thanks to Bhuvi Arshal. But this time could be different. May the best team win. Hopefully, we all have a good game. Joydeep, though, I'll catch you once again, and I'm going to quiz you for more anecdotes. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's enjoy the game. See you later.
Absolutely. Ralston chase and batting chase. We're going to see both.
All right.